Yesterday we learned, yes, the adding and subtracting of polynomials, and now today we're going to learn multiplying monomials and polynomials. And actually that should say multiplying and dividing, because dividing is example 3, so I don't know why that's not a part of the title. But we're going to be multiplying and dividing monomials and polynomials. So in example 1, I have a binomial, which is 2 terms, multiplied by a monomial, which is 1 term. And what we need to remember is we're multiplying here, guys. So we are multiplying the numbers. Okay, we'll multiply the numbers. 3x times 5x gives me 15. But when I multiply variables, I do something to their exponents now. Does anybody remember what do I do to the exponents? I need to add them together. So since they're the same variable and understood exponents of 1, I'm going to add them together to give me x squared. My rule says anytime I'm multiplying variables, I add their exponents together. So what's 3x times 6? 18x. 18x. And that's it. It's in standard form, descending order, everything's simplified, and I'm good. Okay? So let's go ahead and try the second one now. All right, so what's 2z times negative 7z?
Negative 14.
Yes, it's going to be negative 14z squared plus 2z. All right, who got it right? So I should see everybody in the group raise their hand, because you should be talking amongst yourselves and helping each other. All right, now let's do the third one. The third one is different. How? What do you see that's different about the third one? They're both in parentheses. Why would they have put negative 5t squared in parentheses? Yeah, because imagine if it didn't have parentheses, it would look like a subtraction sign, right? So the parentheses say that I'm still multiplying, but now I'm multiplying by a negative. All right, so go ahead and simplify that. Okay, so negative 5t squared times t is what? Negative 5t to the third plus squared. All right, who got that right? Okay, have you done the last one? Okay, work out the last one. Just another minute. Go ahead and work out the last one, and then we'll move on. It should be a to the 4th power minus 7a to the 3rd. Raise your hand if you got it. Okay, awesome. Moving on to example 2. In example 2 now, it's basically the same thing, except now we're multiplying by a trinomial, which means we take the one term on the outside and we multiply it by every term inside the parentheses. We just need to watch for the signs and then also add the exponents of any common variables. All right, so let's go ahead and start breaking down the first problem. X to the 3rd minus 3x plus 7, and all that's being multiplied by 2x to the 3rd. What's 2x to the 3rd times x to the 3rd? 2x is 6. Great job, Bryce. Okay, what about 2x to the 3rd times negative 3x?
Negative 6x to the 4th.
Negative 6x to the 4th. And then 2x to the 3rd times 7?
14x to the 3rd.
All right, we know Bryce got it. Okay, anybody else get that right? Okay, that's good. That's great. That's great. Awesome. All right, now what do you notice that's different about the next problem?
It has
two variables, right? So you cannot add the exponents if they're different variables. So make sure when you're multiplying that you only add the exponents of the common variables. Go ahead and give that one a try. Negative, and we know that it's an understood 1, AB. Well, negative 1 times 2 is negative 2, A squared, B squared, because there's 2 A's and 2 B's. Okay, being multiplied together. All right, now negative AB times negative A is a positive A squared B. Stop talking when I am talking. Okay, now on the third term, negative AB times 4B is going to be negative 4ab squared. Okay, who got that one right? Completely right, all right? So for a lot of you, it's just one sign here or there. We just have to be really careful of that. Now, in example 3, I am now switching gears over to dividing. So before we go to dividing, we actually need to do a couple more practice problems for multiplying. All right, so we have 3x times 4x squared minus x plus 2. Go ahead and work this problem. Remember, think, pair, share. Do it individually. Pair up with your partner and share your answers for accuracy and to discuss. We go 3x times 4x squared is 12x to the third minus 3x squared plus 6x. Who got it? Awesome. All right, now I want to do one more where you have multiple variables. So you can't combine everything. You can only combine the exponents of the same variable. Go ahead and do the second one. Okay, so when I multiply a squared times ab, I'm adding one more a to it, so a to the third b plus 3a squared b squared minus a squared b. Okay, did anybody get that right? Awesome, you guys are really doing great. Now we are going to switch gears over to division. Okay, dividing, okay, look at the words, okay? Look at the words on the screen. You do not have to write it down. When you divide, you're going to divide each term in the polynomial by the same monomial in the denominator. Then use the quotient of powers property. What does that mean? It basically means when I'm dividing, I need to subtract now my exponents instead of adding my exponents. So you are not going to write this original problem in your book for your homework or for your classwork. Instead, what you're going to do is divide each term in the numerator by the denominator. How did I know that 6x to the 6th was going to be positive? How did I know when I wrote it down? How did I know? Because in the original problem, it's positive. Okay? So, what would I write next? Would I write plus 10x to the 4th or minus 10x to the 4th? Minus, because it's negative in the original problem. So minus 10x to the 4th, and then I divide it by the same denominator. I'm basically just splitting it up so I can divide each term in the numerator by the denominator, okay? So why was 2x squared positive? Why is this one positive? Because it's positive over there in the original. So now that I have it split up, now I can reduce each fraction individually. All right, what would be 6 divided by negative 2? What's 6 divided by negative 2? Negative 3. And when I subtract my exponents, what do I get? X to the 4th. That's it. Okay? Now, on the second term, what's negative 10 divided by negative 2? Positive 5. So guess what? I'm going to have plus 5. Whatever the sign is of my quotient, that's the sign I write in the expression. 5x what? Squared. Yes, very good. 5x squared. And then what's 2 divided by negative 2? Negative 1. What's 2 minus 2? 0. So guess what? My x cancels out completely. I had someone in the last class say, well, wouldn't that just be x because the 2's cancel and then all you have is x? But you've got to remember, x by itself has an exponent of 1. So what you're saying is 2 minus 2 is 1, and that's not true. So the x actually completely cancels out when your exponents subtract like that. Okay? So that's your answer. Now go ahead and try the second one. 21x to the 9th over 3x to the 3rd minus 9x to the 7th over 3x to the 3rd. Why did I subtract? Why did I subtract? Because 9 is negative in the original. 15x to the 4th over 3x to the 3rd. Now I can reduce. What's 21 divided by 3?
7x to the 6.
X to the 6. Minus what?
3 just 3x.
Very good. To the 4th. To the 4th. Then what about my last term?
5x. I put a 1.
Now, if you put a 1 in the exponent, is that okay?
Yeah, but it's
Yes, but it's an understood one, so you don't have to. All right, if you understand that, it's everything you need to know for 12.3.